So this year, I think I might be doing a little bit of traveling for the channel. Of course, I'm going to be at CES this year, and I needed to bring something with me that was like a laptop replacement. And really, I just wanted it for things like email and mostly things like editing my videos. And I wanted to not take my existing iPad, which I had my videos on, with me. I wanted something a little bit less expensive because I don't like taking things that I use at home all the time in case they get broke or stolen. I don't want to be stuck like that, right? I mean, doesn't that make sense? So there were some sales over the holiday season, and I got an iPad Air, the 2019 version, and I essentially made it into like a little laptop thingy. I mean, I bought some things with it, as you can see. There's obviously some things on here, and I'll tell you all about them right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back, and for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis, and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below, but for now, let's just get into the video. So while I'm going to be away at CES and probably future other events in 2020 and beyond, I wanted something that I could take with me that I can do most of my video editing on and some other various things, instead of having to do it on my phone, which, while a nice size, is just not quite big enough. And for years I've had iPads. Android tablets are kind of a non-starter with me, even though I have a bunch of them from over the last several years. I have like 4 just sitting over there. They never get turned on because, Android tablets aren't that great. Well, I mean, I should probably be clear. Like, Samsung tablets are actually pretty darn cool and they're built really well. But I mean, even Google doesn't believe in tablets anymore. They don't even sell their own anymore. And the app support there has just never been very good. However, for iPads, it actually is very good. And there's so much to the iPad, especially with iPad OS, that it's kind of a laptop replacement. Easily, was not even a hard thing for me to do. I just bought an iPad, got a couple accessories, and now it's my new laptop. I mean, it is. Now, there's a lot of people out there that think that you can't replace a laptop with an iPad. I don't know why people think this. It could be that they're stuck on previous thoughts about how the iPad works, or maybe they just don't want to believe what else is out there, what other possibilities there are out there. But if you really look into it, the vast majority of people who have laptops, the vast majority of people, would be able to use an iPad, for sure. If for no other reason, for travel. Like, you can get a tremendous amount of stuff done. Sure, there's a couple of things you might not be able to do on it, but there's almost always some type of workaround or app or something like that that'll work in place of whatever it is you can't do on it. And you can do plenty on it. So the first thing I wanted to solve with this thing is to have a keyboard, and that actually wasn't that difficult. I looked on Amazon and found this thing. It's actually pretty cool. It's got a RGB keyboard, which I love. Of course, I'm all about that RGB life. And a little side section there for the pencil. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the pencil I ended up with. And it looks just like a laptop. It's actually really cool. The typing is awesome on this thing. I was really surprised that the typing felt as good as it does. Like, it totally feels good on this thing. And as a bonus, you actually can lift the tablet out of it. Like, it's 2 parts. It's magnetic, it's strong, and it fits together really well. And you can flip it around and have the video screen facing you and the keyboard away to have a more of a closer kind of intimate feel with you if you want to watch movies or something. I just love the way this is. Like $65. What a great buy this was. And when I edit, I usually use the Apple Pencil on my iPad Pro, and I wanted to be able to continue to use something like that, so I ended up getting the Logitech Crayon. Shout out to my man CJ Knows Tech, who did a review on this recently. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. I wouldn't have even known about this thing if it wasn't for him. Essentially, it does pretty much most of the things that the pencil does for a lot less money. I got mine for 50 bucks, and it works really well, and it feels great. And that Logitech Crayon is really cool. It just takes the place of the pencil. Obviously, you can do some screen writing and stuff like that. I don't really use it for that. I mainly use it as an additional kind of touch point for LumaFusion when I move around my timeline. It just makes it a little easier for me, and I just like it. Plus, I can take notes if I need to. And it just slips right onto this thing. So basically, I have my all the way ready to go laptop to go, right? End of video, right? End of video. Probably not, because people are gonna wanna know, how am I actually using this as an actual laptop replacement? Now, of course, everyone's use case is gonna be a little bit different, but mine is pretty simple. I wanna be able to do video editing on the go, and then pretty much keep track of my calendar and email. I think for most people, minus the video editing part, all they wanna do is social media and some stuff online, maybe some spreadsheets and stuff. And you can do all that stuff on an iPad, which is kind of funny that people would think you, for some reason, can't use an iPad in place of a laptop. If that's all you're gonna do, be on Facebook and all the other things like that, and on Tinder. Here's the thing. The A12 processor that's in the iPad Air, the one that I purchased, the 2019 version, is so powerful that me buying a laptop with the same amount of power for the things I want to do would have cost me more than it did for me to buy this particular iPad Air. Now, of course, it was on sale at the time, and even so, for 500 bucks, I'd still be kind of hard pressed. And to be honest, the app that I need to edit my videos is only on iOS. So it wasn't like I even had to sacrifice Adobe Premiere or something like that. Now, okay, if you're Adobe Premiere fan or something like that, you're not gonna be able to go to an iPad. I get it. They do have Adobe Rush. Maybe you could start your rough cut there, but I get it. And if you have Final Cut Pro, you might think you can't, but you actually can. LumaFusion allows you to export your rough cut out into Final Cut. Like, just export it and just finish your cut in Final Cut Pro. Like there's nothing hard you have to do. Just little XML file, you send it over and you're cutting. Like there's no reason. If you're on Apple, you can totally use an iPad as your laptop. It's crazy. Some of you may say, well, there's a Windows only program that I use. I mean, okay, I guess. Are you gonna say that there's no other program out there on all of the iOS store that does exactly what you need it to do? I'm gonna say you're not looking hard enough. I mean, what are you really using your laptop for anyway? Social media? Yeah, I mean, I can do that. Watching videos? Yep, I can do that too. Going on the web? Yeah, I can do that too. Creating video content for the internet? Yep, this thing eats up 4K like it's nothing. So I almost struggle to figure out exactly what it is this thing can't do that people would need most laptops to do. There definitely are gonna be situations where a certain profession may need a certain piece of software that is not on iOS. I get it. But for the most part, most people, if they're really honest with themselves, could use an iPad Air. You have great typing experience with an extra keyboard. If you have an iPhone or something like that, your integration is next level. iOS is constantly updated. With the A12 chip on the iPad Air, this thing is super powerful and can pretty much handle anything you throw at it. I really struggle to think, like, what is it this thing can't do? And tons of programs that you may use have an app version, or at the very least, work on the web. And it just so happens the iPad has a browser. It has a browser, so you can go on the web. Can you game on it? Yes, and of course you are definitely restricted to the games on the iOS ecosystem. I mean, I guess that's a bad thing, but that's not why I got this. I didn't get a laptop to game, and if you're getting a laptop strictly to game, okay, fair point. But this is more for productivity, and I still can't think of anything really significant that you can't do on an iPad that you can do on a laptop. There might be specific programs you can't use, but it doesn't mean you can't get the work done. If you can think of one, leave a comment below. Need to do like spreadsheets or word processing? I mean, Microsoft Office is on there. I mean, I don't know. I try to think of all the things this thing can't do, and it's such a small little number of things. And yes, for some of you, it's gonna be the thing that's gonna keep you from getting one, but man, I gotta say, it's a great device, and it's a great portable laptop. The reality is I need this more specifically for my video editing. And the A12 chip eats up 4K video like nothing. And I'm only gonna be shooting 1080p on the road anyway, so this thing is a monster when it comes to being able to edit those large files. 4K anyway, 1080p is not so bad. Having said that, the one thing that I think is a real weakness on this particular iPad is the Lightning port. In general, you're just plugging it in to, plug into the wall and charge it, but I actually transfer all my files over the USB-C port on my iPad Pro. I didn't realize how much faster USB-C is than Lightning. Let me give you an example. I took two 4K video files, put them on an SD card, transferred them across. On the iPad Pro, it took 5 minutes and 40-something seconds. I did the same thing on my iPad Air using the Lightning adapter to SD card reader, and it took 25 minutes. So for large files, okay, that's gonna be a problem. Thankfully, I'm only shooting in 1080p. The files won't be as big, but that's a huge, big thing for me. For me, that just means more USB-C on iPads, please. More USB-C on iPads. One other thing I can think about that I don't like over the iPad Pro is I like that it has Touch ID, but I actually really like the iPad Pro when it uses Face ID, because you can just tap the space bar when you come to wake it up and it just immediately lets you in. With this one, you actually have to touch the screen to get your fingerprint sensor to open and unlock the screen. But really, that's kind of a small thing. I mean, if that's one of my biggest gripes, I'm actually okay with it. Ultimately, I don't feel like I'm giving up anything by using the iPad Air. Like, the battery life is insane. It's over 10 hours, which you definitely want on a laptop. The screen size is great. It's portable. It's not heavy. It integrates with all of my other devices. It just seems like the perfect replacement. And for me, traveling, I just needed to do a couple of things really well. And likely a lot of people need that same thing. They just don't realize how capable this thing is as a productivity machine. If you critically think about all the uses you actually have for your laptop, how much couldn't you do on an iPad? I want to throw that question out. It seems to me so many people just blatantly say that it's a crappy version of a laptop without actually thinking about, can they get their work done? The answer is very likely yes. But it's so much cooler to say something like the iPad isn't a laptop replacement. It just falls into this whole narrative that the iPad can't get productivity done. It's not true. With iPad OS, now you have access to all types of new features, including import options that you did not have before. And if you have the iPad Pro, that even is better with the USB-C attached to it. Like I have SD card, I have HDMI out, I have all types of options through the USB-C port. So while my iPad Air is my laptop replacement, especially for travel, my iPad Pro is still pretty much my home workstation. It just is. I mean, I can do everything on it. But what about you? What are you looking for in a laptop replacement? Do you need it to just do apps, web stuff? Like, what kind of things do you need it to do? Leave me a comment below and I guess we'll have to figure it out. If this video helped you out in any way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And if it didn't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. I'm here every single week having a blast. Hope to see you again real soon. Peace and love. Peace and love.